And now it's time for Leadership of the Leaf with Dice and Austin. Let's jump in with a cut and a light.
Hey, welcome everybody. Leadership of the Leaf. This episode is a sidebar.
Whoop whoop. Sidebar.
And you got Dice.
And you got Austin. So we were talking about cigars of the year and short run cigars and kind of our thoughts and some of these things, some of these topics we get to talk in, and we could almost end up making a whole episode of just that topic. And so we decided to try to create some of these little sidebars and bonus episodes to kind of give our thoughts and our expanded thoughts on just those topics. So whatever we're talking about that we're like, man, we could go on this for hours or whatever. But we wanted to try to give you guys a little bit of extra time to hear our thoughts and kind of give us a little bit extra time where we're not trying to cram it all into about one episode, so to speak.
It's kind of a play on the whole leadership role where leaders be like, hey, let's have a sidebar about this later. So that's how this came introduced. So we're going to just have a nice little sidebar about cigars of the year.
Ooh, cigars of the year. Man, there are so many different companies that give you a top 25 list ending with a cigar of the year. I know not everybody's. The most commonly known is probably going to be Cigar Aficionado. They've been doing the top 25 list for many years now.
A lot of these companies, they do that top 25, and I respect that top 25. I got it. But all we really want to focus on is the number one, because nobody really remembers number two. You know, they win the championship. The Bulls win the championship. They don't say the Bulls beat whoever and win the championship. They're the champions. So we're just going to really kind of focus on the number one from quite a few different varieties of companies and blogs and magazines.
Yeah, I mean, as Ricky Bobby put it, if you're not first, you're last. So we only care about number one. Let's just start out with like the Cigar Aficionado, right? So the number one from Cigar Aficionado this year is the Padron 1964 Aniversario series, the Torpedo, the natural. And that comes in at about $18 a stick. This cigar has been out for a while.
What would you say, since 1964?
Well, I mean, it's an anniversary of 1964, a blend from 1964. So I'm sure they changed it up just a touch. To me, that cigar should be released in that year, or at the earliest, I would say like the last quarter of the year before, right? So you got October, November, December. A lot of cigars kind of get overlooked because they haven't been out on the market long enough to really be considered for that year's cigar of the year, because it just hadn't been put out there enough, right? So this one kind of just irks me in the fact that it's an anniversary, and I'm pretty sure this one was released well into 2020 latest, but they still made it number one for 2021. That just kind of bugs me. And as Cigar Aficionado, from what I've been told by people in the cigar industry, brick and mortar owners, Cigar Aficionado is, hey, you pay us for some advertising and it will help your chances. You buy some advertising in our magazine and it'll help your chances in the number one spot this year.
Yeah, they received, I don't want to say they received a lot of hate mail, but I had quite a few conversations with people about it too. And they have the same sentiment as you. They really feel like the Cigar Aficionado is kind of more catering towards who's going to provide them more business. And I don't think that's fair to the public.
It's not. It really isn't, because that doesn't give a true representation. I would probably go closer to like a Half Wheel type. I'd probably trust Half Wheel a little bit more with their number one list. Half Wheel is My Father's Humidor Deluxe. It's $100 for a cigar, because that whole humidor, which is 100 cigars in that humidor, is $10,000, and they're wanting to sell each cigar at a profit, so to speak. So that's freaking $100 a cigar. That's a little bit rich. Feel like that they actually gave it a fair shake.
I agree with you. They did give it a fair shake, but the price point, I know price point shouldn't play a factor in choosing a cigar of the year, but the average Joe, the average person is myself. I'm not going to go out and buy a $100 cigar or pay $10,000 for a Humidor Deluxe to get another humidor. So I don't think that's a little fair for the public consumption either. But I mean, they can pick their number one cigar. That's what they do.
Right. But Half Wheel has another thing where they call it the consensus number one cigar. And the consensus is it basically takes like 43 cigar lists. They rank them and they say, okay, this one got number 2 on this one got number 3, the same cigar got number 3, and they basically rank them and they go, okay, out of 43, this one got the highest, and that's going to be our number 1. Then the second highest was this one, so that's our number 2. So the number 1 consensus from Half Wheel is the Drew Estate Undercrown 10, which I'm smoking on, and you're smoking on as well.
Yeah, for my first little half here, or first quarter, whatever you want to call it, first third, I definitely got some spice and I would say black pepper on my palate. How about you?
Black pepper. I definitely taste a little bit of black pepper, but yeah, I almost taste a little bit of earthiness.
Okay. Well, you're definitely a better retro inhaler than I am.
We talked about cigar traditions, and I always smoke a cigar. The number 1 cigar of the year on my kid's birthday, and this year I'm going to go with the Cigar Journal's number 1 cigar of the year, which is the Perdomo Reserve 10th box pressed Epicure Maduro.
Okay. And Cigar Journal, I haven't picked up one, but I'm hearing Cigar Journal is what Cigar Aficionado used to be.
Which kind of gives me some hope for the future. I mean, businesses fade in and out, I say of relevance and stuff, but so if Cigar Journal can be what a Cigar Aficionado used to be and not become too big for the britches, so to speak, I look forward to it. I look forward to that, smoking that one come in March, and really just to see what they kind of boast as the top one. Yeah,
I picked for my cigar of the year, I went with the Leaf Enthusiast. I just kind of picked one that just kind of just stood out a little different than the rest. And their cigar of the year was Davidoff's Chef Edition. It's a 2021. It's kind of a limited run, which we discussed before. It's a little pricier stick. It's around about $39 to $40 a stick. I'm here in Vegas. They actually have a Davidoff cigar lounge here.
Yeah.
And it's pricey, but it's one of them that I'm only going to smoke like once. So I was like, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I would be interested to see how for you. Davidoff, as always, from what I know, makes really good sticks. I haven't smoked too many Davidoffs, usually because of their price point. However, anybody listening, feel free again to any Davidoffs you want. I'll DM, PM, whatever I'll send you my address and you can send me free cigars. I'm not going to hate on that. But I haven't had a whole lot of Davidoffs unless it's a special occasion. I tend to have those, but one that actually kind of stood out to me that I was a little bit surprised about, I think, was Cigar Snob, the Oliva Serie V Milanio Maduro. I've had several of these. I know I've had them out in 2019 or earlier. So again, to me, I'm like, why is this in the running for Cigar Aficionado or Cigar of the Year?
Definitely, I smoked several myself. Cigar of the Year, it's a really great cigar, but Cigar of the Year, and being this late in the game, I don't know. Cigar Snob is another one of those magazines I haven't been a fan of. I picked one up before. I'm just not a fan of their publication.
Yeah, well, that's totally fine. It just, to me, again, if you're going to be a Cigar of the Year, you should be released no later than mid-year that you're trying to go for, right? So if you're trying to go for Cigar of the Year in 2021, you should be released no later than probably like June or July of 2021, because that's when everyone starts getting their Cigars of the Year.
Yeah, they go through their reviews and they try to pick out, well, I will hope they pick out the better of the group. They try to rank them to get the cigar number one. And if it's already been out there and it's already been smoked and smoked and smoked, why didn't it make Cigar of the Year? It came out. What's different?
To me, that's like adding a Hall of Famer. Like you've just been out of the game so long that they just give you the Hall of Fame because there's like nobody else there to like this guy. He's been out of the game long enough. Fuck it, let's give him a Hall of Famer as well. Like, what did this dude do? or what did this person do for Hall of Fame? Sure, fuck it. You can be a Hall of Famer, I guess.
Yeah, we recognize that guy's name. Sure.
Yeah, fuck it. One that I kind of is interesting to me that kind of stood out on this list that we have, and we only have probably 8 cigars that we kind of chose was going to be and this featured in our little sidebar is the Scotch and Cigars Pilon Robusta Extra, and that one I love CAOs. I'm just interested. I would love to smoke that one if I haven't already. I'd love to smoke that one. What it's all about, because that CAO normally is not up there for number 1. It's usually in like the top 10. Realize from what I've looked past on, but to get number 1 is kind of interesting.
I know I have smoked the CAO Pilon Lancero, not the Robusto, and I don't know if I would put that in my top 10, to be honest with you. But again, it wasn't a Robusto, so
yeah. I mean, different flavor profiles. We've talked about this before. Different flavor profiles for different sizes and everything else. So it's just interesting to see something like that, where like, man, I'm not saying that they're not deserving of it by any means. I'm just saying normally CAO is in like the top 10 or 15, not number 1.
Yeah.
Not that I don't.
I would love to give the Robusto a try, to give it another whirl. Because the Lancero, as we discussed before, is mostly trying to catch the binder and the wrapper as more of the filler. So the Robusto is going to add more filler to it. So maybe I missed something by getting a Lancero. But any cigar on this list, I will always give it a try. I'm not going to diss anything on this list. Hell, they picked it number 1 for a reason, right?
Right, yeah.
That's what threw me off for leaf enthusiasts, because the one that they chose is actually like a limited run. It's a limited edition, so it's not readily available, and it's also kind of on the pricey side. So why would they pick that to be their number 1?
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. Well, it's same similar thing with like Half Wheel with that My Father's Humidor Deluxe. Like to me, it's I don't want to say it's a limited run, but it's kind of a gimmicky thing where it's like, hey, you buy this whole humidor full of 100 cigars. That one's our number. Who's gonna smoke that? People are almost. I shouldn't. I'm sure there's quite a few out there, but like the average Joe Schmo is not gonna sit there and, for the most part, gonna go out and just let me pick up $10,000 to cigar full of 100.
Yeah, I don't have Michael Jordan money. It's not going to happen. Only way I get that cigar is if I win it like in a contest or something, because I'm not going to spend $100 on the My Father Humidor Deluxe. I'm not going to do it.
No, I mean, that's, again, if I was given it 100%, or if I win it 100%, I would smoke the ever-loving shit out of it. I would nub it all the way down, and I'd enjoy the crap out of it. But
I would tap that ash.
But for just a normal thing, for $100, I don't think so. So what did you think of Cigar Coup's, the Rocky Patel Winter Collection?
Well, Rocky Patel has kind of a history of having almost the same flavor profile for cigars. That's kind of the consensus when you talk to others in cigar lounges. I have not had the Winter Collection. I did enjoy the Disciple, which I'm a little surprised didn't make number 1 on any of these lists. Yeah, but I would love to give that a try. Obviously, it's a Winter Collection, so I'm assuming it came out 2020 in the fourth quarter of 2020, around the winter time frame. But I would love to give that a try.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm right there with you. I know Rocky Patel has kind of this, I don't want to say bad rep for giving a lot of the similar flavor profiles. They're the ultimate of if it ain't broke, don't fix it type mentality.
Yeah.
They just keep re-releasing stuff under different names and people keep flocking to it because it's a Rocky Patel.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen this one on the shelf because I'm pretty confident I would have picked it up.
Yeah, I have not, I don't know. I don't know that I haven't seen it that much. I will say that upon my search for this Perdomo cigar that I picked up for my kid's birthday, I did call a brick and mortar place. I called like 3 places brick and mortar that are around me, and one place actually told me, he goes, I said, hey, do you guys happen to have I was like, do you guys happen to have the Perdomo Epicure box press? And they go, don't carry Perdomo. The fuck did you just say?
Wow.
I was like, okay. All right, cool. Thanks. Bye. I just hung up. happened to be the same place that said that they were proud of their plume.
All that adds up. That adds up, sir.
And I was like, interesting. No, okay. So I just did a little bit of quick research, side research. Rocky Patel Winter Collection 2020 has debuted in 2008. The Rocky Patel Winter Collection has been a seasonal hit among cigar fans around the world with every release. So now it's in its third release. They changed up the blend, and it looks really nice. Definitely looks interesting. It's a limited edition again. Yeah, I don't know. It's a limited edition release, and it's definitely in the Q4 2020, but I don't know. It's just something about these limited edition cigars winning cigar number one almost makes it seem like they're just trying to help that company sell out.
I just don't see a limited edition being a cigar of the year, which it has been, obviously, because it's on our list. It's a limited run. So it's not something that the average person can go to a brick and mortar right now and pick up. It baffles me how a limited edition cigar can become. It should be something that's readily available for the masses.
Right. Now, if you looked at like Cigar Aficionado's I think it was their 2020 year, was the EP Carrillo The Pledge cigar. That's something that's readily available. You can go out to a brick and mortar and go buy that still today. And it's not, they're not going to sit there and go, oh, we don't have it, it's limited run. Like, no, that's a straight up blend for EP Carrillo. And it's, so to me, that definitely deserved to win number one. But these limited runs, I just don't know. Like, again, I feel sometimes they're just gimmicky, and these companies who pick number ones that are limited release are just trying to help that cigar company sell out of these cigars.
Yeah, what kind of skin in the game do these cigar companies have with these companies?
Right.
Because I'll be pretty pissed off. I'm like, okay, today I just found out that the Rocky Patel Winter Collection was number one by Cigar Coop. I love Cigar Coop. Let me go buy this cigar. And I travel to how many ever brick and mortars I need to, and they're all like, oh, that only comes out in the wintertime.
Oh, yeah, sorry, we don't have any more. We picked up like 4 boxes, and ever since it came out as number one, and we sold out. Like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah. I got to wait till next winter? It could be a different blend by then.
Yeah, exactly. Or, got to try to find it online somewhere and hope to get one. But, yeah, it's just weird to me.
Pay double the price.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the Cigar Dojo, the Fierro Tego Elegancia, I haven't ever really heard of Fierro Tego.
I think it's a partnership with Cigar Dojo, which also kind of like jades the system again.
Right. So see, to me, it's just, if you're having a partnership, a cigar company, like let's say Cigars Daily. That's a pretty well-known, I don't want to say well-known. It's a decently known online distributor of cigars, right? They have a brick and mortar store in Arizona. And that sort of stuff. But if they had, let's just say they had a top 25 list, and then they chose an American Viking cigar, that's their house blend. You're telling me that their number one was their own house blend? Horse shit. But I'm just saying, like, some may add up. I'm gonna follow the money on this one.
Yeah, I mean, how conceited do you have to be to pick your own? It's almost like you should not pick your own because everyone's going to perceive it that way anyway.
Right. Now, if they had won it through, like, let's just say Half Wheel or somebody else, I'd be, and that one was their number one, I'd be like, oh, they won it from somebody else. But if I'm, it's like almost saying, like, we're the best and we know it, so we're just going to pick our number one. We're going to pick ourselves as number one. Like, that's kind of bullshit.
I'm going to call hogwash on that one, sir.
Yeah, I'm throwing the bullshit flag. So the challenge flag. I'm going to throw the bullshit flag. It's brown. It's not red. But I don't know. I mean, to me, again, a lot of these limited runs, they can be great or they could be a straight up gimmick. I feel, to me, my opinion, this My Father's Humidor Deluxe is a straight gimmick. Now, if they release this cigar outside of they release a box of it outside that humidor, and they say, hey, you want to pick up a single of this? It's going to be like $15. I would be, all right, fine. That makes we're going to call it Humidor Deluxe, and we're going to do it that way. Then that's fine. But to me, it's like, man, you're buying into a gimmick almost.
Yeah, I could easily see them do the Humidor Deluxe and put it in its own like coffin. You've seen cigars that come in their own little wooden box. So it's something that they can do. It's not totally outlandish request.
No, I don't think so. I think it would be interesting to see what price point they give it outside of that special humidor that was made for it. What price point do you put on those cigars? Like, how much is that humidor itself worth versus how much is those cigars worth?
My cigar right now, I'm probably about in the second third. I don't think we'll get to finish this on air, but I'm in my second third, and I'm getting notes of dark chocolate.
I can taste dark chocolate on it.
Maybe floral?
Yeah, a little bit of floral. Still getting a little bit of an earthy taste.
Let's see how this floral mixes with my Hennessy.
Oh, I mean, you almost always drink Hennessy with your cigars. But yeah, I like the idea of limited release cigars because, it creates that want, that draw. And sometimes it's kind of cool just to sit there and say, hey, we release this cigar. It's on a limited release. Come try it out. And, maybe they get it where it's great. Maybe they come back and bring it as a regular release. Or they could try to sit there and be like, oh, this is like let's say like the McRib or something, whereas we're just going to bring it out once a year, like that winter collection. And, Rocky Patel's winter collection, I'm okay with because they bring it out as a seasonal, but they change the blend. So every time they bring it out, it's a different blend. So, okay, it's under the same name, kind of, but it's a different blend.
So that puts it in the running each year. Well, they don't have the method to their madness. The Padron 1964, that's been out. The anniversary that's been out quite a few times. This is not its first run. There's no way that's its first run.
No, that thing has been out for how many years? Like, when was that released? I'm gonna do some research.
Well, I smoked the 135th anniversary edition on one of the earlier podcasts. So I think it's been out for quite some time, sir.
Right, but when was that out though? Like, when was that specific blend out?
I do not have a way of researching.
I'm gonna research this. I want to find this out. So the Figurado 2020 was released November of 2020.
Okay.
So that would put it in the running for the 2021.
Okay.
But that's the Figurado 2020. So that doesn't mean that was not out earlier. You can have a blend that has been out for a while. You change the shape of it a little bit, which changes the flavor profile, and you release it, and you could get another year out of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I know the FDA is cracking down. That goes back to the whole vape thing and the youth, call it an epidemic or whatever. The youth.
Yeah, but the thing with handmade premium cigars, which that's all we talk about. We don't talk about like the swishers or anything unless we're poking fun. The flavors and stuff that we get is all natural. There's no additives or anything in it. It's all about how the cigar is blended.
I would agree for the most part, except for the fact that like an acid or an infused type cigar, that is like whiskey or wine barrels or some sort of like whiskey, infused type thing to where they add extra stuff to those cigars. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it's not homogenized machine made.
Right.
It's
still handmade, 100%. It's not adding. Yeah. There are none of the additives of like cigarettes where you add the tar and the cancer-causing carcinogens. If you want to use big terminology here.
Well, with everything that puts together, these companies, they have their different categories and different areas that they look at. Maybe like in the future, maybe they should add in there like, we picked this cigar for this reason, or make it known that the cigar is a sponsor or something like that. Like, NASCAR drivers always wear the patches and stuff on there, so you know who they work for.
Yeah. So the thing that I like about that consensus one, right?
Yeah.
So the half wheel consensus, when I Googled it, because I was interested to see what happened. Half wheel consensus, they said we review 43 different other cigar publications. The cigars that are only allowed are the ones that are released in the last quarter of 2020, they call it late 2020 and 2021. Those are the only ones that we review and put in the consensus, which is kind of cool to me, because even though this, like the Undercrown that we're smoking, right, it's a 10-year anniversary. Got it. It's 10-year anniversary. They still changed up the blend for this 10-year, and it was still released last year. So it's a new blend. They just put it under a 10-year anniversary name and called it a day.
So what I am going to proposition that we do is next year, around the same time frame, when we have our Cigar of the Year episode, sidebar here, is we will look back at every single cigar we smoke, and we will pick our Cigar of the Year. And our rules is we have to have smoked it on our podcast.
Ooh, that'd be interesting, because that opens it up to almost limitless. Because so again, these wouldn't have to be produced in 2022. They could be almost anything as long as they're smoked on our podcast. I'd be down. Okay. I'm all right with that.
So what we'll do is we'll let you pick yours, I'll pick mine, and then we will bump heads and come up with a consensus of which one we feel should be leadership of the least Cigar of the Year.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with that, as long as we have both smoked that cigar. Because it's not fair if you say, hey, mine's the David Off Chef's edition, I ain't ever smoked the David Off Chef's edition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nope, that's fair. That's fair. That's why I say I pick mine, you pick yours, and then the one that we pick together, we both have to have smoked at least once on air.
I am down for that. I think that's a great idea. And, obviously we post everything and all the cigars that we're smoking. We post pictures and we post them on our Instagram at Leadership of the Leaf, or on our blog at nsplume.wixsite.com/LOTL, nsplume.wixsite.com/LOTL.
And also for the folks out there that have joined Cigar Scanner, I'm not advertising for Cigar Scanner, but if you are on there, you can look us up on Leadership of the Leaf. They're also posted on that.
I will say, Cigar Scanner, if you guys don't have a cigar journal, Cigar Scanner is a great way to keep a journal. It's very nice.
All online, yes. All right.
Which you're better at that than I am.
You have been listening to Leadership of the Leaf, and this was our sidebar.
All right, my name is Austin, and I just want to remind everybody not to be that asshole.
And I'm Dice, and remember, there's no bad cigars, there's just better ones. Thank you for listening to Leadership of the Leaf. The comments and opinions expressed by the host and guests does not reflect the opinions of those that broadcast this show, nor does it reflect any of our affiliates.
Don't forget, we need to follow the podcast so we know when new episodes drop.